This morning's episode, we're going to be talking about why people hurt other people. And it's a very true secret that we can use, understand. Additionally, we're going to be going over strategies, tips, tricks, and ideas to help us handle when we got those people who are causing a pain in our butts. Enjoy the show. Financially free and enjoy more of what the world has to offer. This action one, because this is where most human beings screw the pooch. So a little one-person trampoline, very. I hope I screen shared it. Like, there's no excuse. Like, phone numbers are just out there. You just got to pick up the phone, smile, and dial. So. Good morning, and welcome back to another episode of the Talk Tanner Morning Show, where we go over tips, tricks, ideas, and exercises to help make you the absolute best entrepreneur you can be, not only for yourself, but the people you love and care about most. Good morning, and excuse me if you hear some wind coming in, a little bit of the chimes. It is a beautiful morning this morning, so I wanted to open the office up and get some sunshine, some fresh air. Actually, I'll close this one at least because it's right here. But the other one's got a really nice breeze coming in. But this morning, without further ado, we're going to go over 6 reasons why people hurt other people. And additionally, we're going to go over 7 strategies to protect yourself when these come about. It turns out it's pretty inevitable for us to be dealing with people who have a lot going on, and something that I wanted to put up front and for us never to forget, drill this into our minds, because I think it can really open up the opportunities to be more empathetic, to handle these situations better. Because it turns out when we let other people hurt us, there's only one person who truly suffers, and that's ourself, because that's all there really is our own personal experience. So never forget, hurt people. The only reason someone would hurt you is because they're hurt themselves. I think understanding that is really setting our framework up for success. So without further ado, let's go over 6 reasons why people would hurt other people. First of all, it is a lack of empathy. So a lack of empathy is when people do not understand or do not recognize the emotions that they are putting out or the impact that it has on other people. Literally flying right over their heads. They don't acknowledge it. They don't care. There's a lack of empathy for other people because they're trying to usually gain pity for themselves. And it's too bad because pity doesn't actually end up doing you any good anyway. And feeling guilt and shame and all this bull crap emotion that we suffer from all the time, it turns out that having empathy for others and having forgiveness for others is what makes us feel good and alive. But that's not here in this episode. This is why people are out to hurt you. This is why coworkers are saying terrible things. This is why people are snooty. This is why people talk behind other backs. This is why gossip is such a big popular thing. This is why on TV you see all those reality shows or whatever where people are snipping and sniping back and forth. Is for our first reason, lack of empathy. No empathy for other people. That's why someone would want to hurt you. Second is personal insecurities. When the classic saying, when you're pointing your finger at somebody, you got 3 fingers pointing right back at you. Someone is usually trying to reach and grab for any hope that they can get. And if people wouldn't do things if they didn't believe it gave them something. I think that's worth repeating. People would not do things if they didn't believe that it gave them something. And so when somebody's pointing out your faults or coming at you really hard, it's usually because they have their own personal securities within this. So I've gained a lot of empathy for this kind of stuff in general because when I was younger, I had some issues with my dad having a kid with somebody else, and I didn't like children. I didn't like babies, and it really and I was snippy, and I was resentful, and I had a lot of negative emotion whenever it came to like wanting to hold the baby or wanting to do this to help take care of it or whatever. I was pretty pissed off, to say the least, and I was negative, and I was coming at people, and So what I'm saying here is that I can see why other people are doing it because of personal insecurities and things that are going on with myself. And to continue to rehash it, we're going to come back to this thing like 100 times again. Hurt people. I was hurt, so I was out to hurt other people. This is how this works. It's crazy. And after personal insecurities, we have jealousy and envy. From that last story, we have a little of this sprinkled in there, some jealousy of not getting my father's attention, but some jealousy overall. This is when someone sees someone and say they perceive them as more beautiful than they are, and they're jealous and they're envious. Those personal insecurities and lack of empathy really start to leak in. So you see how this all really starts to weave together for number 3 on our list for 6 reasons why people hurt other people. Jealousy and envy. People, if you have a better job than they do, you make more money, you have responsibilities. If they see you on social media, all they see is the highlights, which remember, you don't know everyone's day-to-day life. You don't know their emotions day-to-day. I can barely understand my own in the day-to-day life, let alone, and I'm trying to do life coaching. So there's no way that you're going to ever know someone's day-to-day life. Everyone has ups and downs. But if you focus on the highlights too much, I think it creates jealousy and envy. And then this just pulls poor reactions, poor ways to respond, and other negative emotions that cause you to want to hurt other people. So jealousy and envy made the 3rd on our list for why people hurt other people. Jealousy and envy. Next up is frustration and anger. People are just frustrated. Say if you have a workload, it's a common thing that there's too much work with too little resources, too little people. Do you think that could cause some frustration and anger, whether it's at your job or whether even at the same ideas and structure apply at home? You got too much chaos going on and you're overwhelmed. Anxiety is just creeping and building and you're boiling up with frustration. You're starting to get anger just generating and vibrating inside you at a ferocious rate, and then you just want to get it out of you. So you just project it onto somebody else and you push it out onto somebody else. So reason number 4 of the 6 reasons why people hurt other people is frustration and anger. If someone comes at you, they're probably frustrated. They're probably angry. And a little tidbit, there's layers to this stuff. And I've learned this in my own therapy, working with a therapist, working with life coaches, business coaches, working with clients. There's frustration and anger on the outside of the onion, but really it's sadness underneath. And we can have empathy for those people because we know when you're pissed off, it's really just because you're sad. So frustration and anger, number 4 on our list. Number five, cultural and societal factors. So when it comes to our 6 reasons why people hurt other people, we come down to the list number 5, cultural and societal factors. My grandpa is 90 years old and he was born in like 1930. So how people were raised and how things were structured then is a lot different than 2023. Or say if you grew up in a different part of the world, a different part of even just the United States. I can go down to Southern Illinois and it's way different than when I go to Chicago. There is so many cultural and societal factors that happen, and what's one person perceives as like coming at you or being mean or trying to hurt you, another person could perceive as they just love you or they just want to love you. Certain people in communication from cultural and societal factors can vary so different, and the gap between where one person's at, I like to just spread it out. No one's better than, I don't want to depict it that someone's above somebody. But say if you're over here and they're over here, there's such a gap between you two where you grew up. You are the sum of your experiences, the books you read, the foods you eat, everything that you take in as a human being creates who you are. And if I'm eating different foods, if I'm reading different books, if I have different friends, if I have a different upbringing, then how I'm going to handle and react to certain situations is not going to be the same as you. And nothing's perfect, right? So we butt heads here and there. And as humans, we've developed very high level emotion. We feel our emotions very intensely, and it hurts when people hurt us. So that's why a big reason that's cultural and societal factors made our list. So next time somebody comes at you, it could just be the way that they brought up, the way things they were taught, or just the experiences they've had in their life. Maybe it's from their parents, their grandparents, the state they were born, or whatever. So I have a lot more empathy for people, and I cut people a lot more aside. And we have strategies. You can't just let everyone run you over, right? That's not what this episode's about. So that's why we're going to have our next section is the 7 strategies to protect ourselves from this. So the number 6 on the 6 reasons why people hurt other people is mental health issues. There's a lot of people who are suffering from depression, anxiety. I want you to think of a time when your stomach hurt or you had a brutal headache. How well did you communicate in a stressful situation? So I want you to go to work and I want you to have a horrible headache and a terrible stomach ache and just be in a bunch of pain in general. How did you communicate? Were you snippy? Did you cut corners? Did you get pissed off and angry? Probably. A lot of people are on a lot of medication, and a lot of people don't take the time to sing Kumbaya and meditate every morning like hopefully we're doing. And they don't take the time to stretch their bodies. They don't take the time to eat healthy foods. They don't take the time to exercise, to get good blood flow, to get clean oxygen into their lungs, to strengthen their immune systems. A lot of people are in a lot of freaking pain, a lot of pain. And if you have arthritis, it's no wonder that when you're having a conversation, it's really hard to be patient when you're in pain. It's really hard. If you've ever tried it, let me know how it goes, because you got to be like a monk to be able to handle those situations. So that's something, our tagline is mental health, but really the research and the writing I was doing in my journals for this morning's episode made me just think of pain in general. And people just have a lot of stuff going on in their head, and who knows where someone's at a particular time. And in this information flood, and we're all starving for wisdom, as Tony Robbins likes to talk about. It's no wonder why so many of us have mental health issues. We're comparing to everyone else. She's perfect. I'm ugly. She's doing great things in her life. I'm not. He's doing this with his life. His job's so much better than me. I'm not. And then bam, I have a bunch of stuff going on in my brain that's eating me alive. And then when I engage with someone, I'm pissed off and I'm hurtful. So that came up for our last reason why hurt people hurt. Hurt people hurt people. So, okay, that was number 6. Now we're on to the 7 strategies to protect yourself from hurtful people. Are you going to encounter people who want to hurt you? Yes or yes? Yes or yes? It is part of life. It turns out, unfortunately, that there's going to be some buttholes along the way. There's going to be some people who don't know what they're talking about. There's going to be some people who lack empathy, people who are angry, people who are in pain, and they're going to come at you. And our job is to not take it personally. We cannot take it personally. Life is difficult as it is. Figuring out what it is you want to do, why you want to do it, who are the people you want to surround yourself with, how do you want to financially support traveling the world, yada, yada, yada. Life is tough, and there's a lot of moving pieces. And the last thing that we need is the weight of someone else's bullshit on my back. I'm trying to help people. I know this. And within these strategies, for the first strategy is to set boundaries. So I have over here, I'm going to check on my notes to make sure I'm saying everything I need to say for the boundaries part. So we want to really define what is unacceptable. What is unacceptable for you to hear when you're communicating, talking with people, and set boundaries. Only talk to people in certain environments. Really set yourself up for success. And I think boundaries are really helpful in doing this. when you're preparing to talk with people. Sometimes you got a job and your boss is an asshole. And I think if we can set ourselves up with proper boundaries when we communicate with them, how we handle ourselves and how do we want to show up, controlling what we can control, I think it can make setting boundaries a hell of a lot easier. Tip number 2, strategy number 2 for protecting ourselves from hurtful people would be self-respect. You got to respect yourself to the highest possible level. And you got to keep working on this all the time. We got to continually evolve and we got to continually grow. You can look under a microscope. I got this from Dr. Wayne Dyer. I love this analogy. If you look under a plant under a microscope, if it is not growing, it is dying. And I feel like it's the same for self-respect, for how we handle our emotions, our spiritual health, our physical health. If we are not growing in a positive direction, it's going to feel like we're literally dying on the inside. So if we can't, we have to keep climbing the ladder, keep figuring out self-worth and self-respect for ourselves. So I want you to take a little time this morning and say that you respect yourself, that you're willing to do what it takes, and you acknowledge that you are a good person, that you're doing good things, you have great qualities, and that what someone else believes or thinks or says or does not affect your self-worth. They are not correlated. They are completely separate, and you are your own person. So self-respect, you can tell I get a little energetic on that point because it's too bad. It really is, where people will neglect the most valuable thing that you have. And that's respect for yourself. And don't neglect that. Next up is third on our list. So our third strategy to protect yourself from hurtful people is develop emotional resilience. We're going to have to get a little more calloused. There's coping with negative emotion is a part of life. Just like we're going to have the ups. So if I told you on this journey of life, you're going to have some ups and you're going to have some downs. Does that sound about right? You're probably like, yeah, I'm probably going to have some ups. I'm probably going to have some downs. Turns out it's the same for emotions. You're going to have some really good positive emotions, and then sometimes you're going to have some negative emotions. You will never run a marathon in 0 minutes and 0 seconds. I like that analogy because it relates to emotional health, that it's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows. The classic Rocky coming out here, I can hear him saying in my head. And developing emotional resilience. So when it comes up, frame it differently. That person's not hurting me anymore. That's a win for me. They do it again. That person's not hurting me anymore. That's a win for me. I've done good today. Today has been a great day. And it sounds so cheesy and corny, but it totally works. We just have to build that emotional resilience. And I'm not saying don't cry. Crying is very healing, but cry to get better. Don't cry to hurt yourself more. I think that's where people get it mixed up. And that's where I think I got it mixed up. I was so against crying as a man. I'm a man, damn it. I do not cry. But when I did cry, it was because I was feeling sorry for myself, and I was perpetuating the bullshit story that I wasn't good enough. Versus now I cry when I'm working in therapy or I'm working with my life coach. I cry because it's healing and because I'm happy I'm finally forgiving myself. And I'm taking that monkey off of my back that I've been carrying, and it's been driving me nuts for decades. So develop emotional resilience. Next up, number 4 on our list for the 7 strategies to protect yourself is choose your battles. Choose your battles. We all have to go to war at some point, at some time, somewhere, someplace. It's ideally we do not go to war at all. But do you think you're going to go to war in your lifetime at all? In the context of somebody saying something hurtful to you? Probably. Yes. So I think if we start to choose our battles, in so many situations, people will just go straight to confrontation. Tell me if this sounds familiar. I argue, so I'll deal with someone who I'm interacting with that I don't like very much. After I'm done, I will have an entire war go on in my imagination about I would have said this to that person, I would have said that, and I would have done this, and they're a piece of crap for saying this or doing that. And just this whole thing, I'm just perpetuating my suffering. And I think we can choose our battles, raise our awareness, see that you're thinking this, see that you're imagining this, see that this is just a story, and I choose not to take that battle. Or next time you have something, I'm using work examples because this is where it comes up a lot, is work and family, unfortunately. So say in a work, or say with your family, or with your friends, work, family, friends, these happen all the time. Really ask yourself, do I want to engage in this argument? Is this a battle I want to pick? Does everything need confrontation? Or can I just let it go? Whatever that may be, so make sure the fourth strategy on our list is to choose your battles. Next up is seek support. No man or woman is an island. We need to get support to really get the guidance we need in order to really heal ourselves. Because what did we say that we never forget? Hurt people hurt people. And if you have not taken the time to seek support and heal yourself, whether you've taken classes, I offer the one-page life plan course that is absolutely money, and it really helps you work on yourself and pay attention to what matters. Or maybe you go get a coach, a life coach. You work with me, or you work with another coach. You work with a therapist. You sit down and you talk to your friends. You talk to your family about this. Just communicating about it in general is really healthy. So seeking support to heal yourself. And then as you heal yourself, you're going to have a whole hell of a lot more self-respect. And then you're going to choose your battles a lot more effectively. So you see, again, how these are all working together. So we seek the support. And second to the last on the list is practice empathy. Practice empathy. Empathy is our ability to acknowledge that others are in pain, that others are probably in a tough spot. Have you ever had a bad day? Ever? Have you ever pulled over and gotten a ticket right before you went to work on Monday? Have you ever spilled your coffee on your favorite shirt? Have you ever done something, or you had literally, it's amazing to me. I'll never forget this story. So I had someone who I was not friends with, kind of friends with. I talked to him about real estate, and they were being snooty with me, and they were saying like kind of mean things to me. And I was like pissed off. And then I was just like, what the hell, dude? What's your problem? This and that. And then he stormed off and left. I look up later, I see on social media, his dad died. I was like, holy crap. So the point on that is, and again, I didn't know, and I was just kind of mad because I needed something really quickly, or I wanted something really quickly, and he didn't help me out super immediately. And it turns out he was going through something horrible. And what I'm saying is, you never know what someone's going through. People's parents die. People die. People get sick. People are in pain. People are depressed. There's a lot of stuff going on. So if we can practice empathy and give people the benefit of the doubt, what happened to innocent until proven guilty? Did we just throw that away? One of the greatest principles ever. Innocent until proven guilty. I think it's healing to give people the benefit of the doubt. And you're like, oh, Tanner, why would you do that? People are bad. People are terrible. And this, like, what's the other option? To carry the weight of negativity of being mad because you think everyone's out to get you when actually nobody cares? No thanks. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. You get one go at it and you screw me over, then fine. I'll set some boundaries. I'll develop emotional resilience. I'll do these strategies to protect myself, but I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt right off the bat. I think that's a happier and healthier way to go about it. Number 7, our last strategy on this list is to respond. Don't react. This is pretty close to choose your battles, but I wanted to include this one as well because see it a lot in myself and other people I get a chance to communicate and learn from. Things can really escalate quickly when someone says something to us that we do not like, and then bam, like throw the counter punch immediately. escalation. They're on their back heels. I'm pissed off, charging forward, and then now it's a real battle and a real fight. So I think we can really help ourselves in these situations and feel better about it if we can just respond and not just abruptly react. It's okay to pause and take a second to think about what the hell you're going to say. We don't have to just blurt out, and the fastest response is not necessarily the best. So take a second. We can pause. I want to pause, and then I want to think about what it is I want to say. I want to give them the space that they need, and then say what I need to say. I didn't appreciate that, and I understand you have a lot going on. Done. I don't need to say, you piece of crap, look at you, you have this going on in your life, you got that, no wonder why you got a divorce, or Jesus, just people will throw daggers, and there is just no need for that. So just respond, don't react. And I think it can make life a hell of a lot better. So the last point, we want to put this on here. You never forget this. Never, 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 never forget this. Hurt people hurt people. So if someone tries to hurt you or you hurt somebody else, it's just a reflection of what's going on with them or what's going on with you at a deeper level. If you found your peace, if you had quality attention to things that mattered in your life, if you had real goals and you were developing yourself and growing as an individual, you wouldn't have the time or the desire to hurt other people. So really watch out for this, raise our awareness to this. And if you know someone who needs to hear this message, if you know someone who's been hurt by somebody else, please share this video with them. Hopefully it can give some peace and hopefully make people feel better. And additionally, if you know anyone who just needs some strategies or just some reasons to feel a little bit better today, I greatly appreciate all the shared content, because we're really trying to make a big difference and have people start their mornings off right, build momentum, do good things, etc. So this was 6 reasons why people hurt other people, and additionally 7 strategies to protect yourself from hurtful people. That's all I had for this morning's show. This was episode 346. My gosh, keep rolling along. Sorry I started late this morning. I was having a ton of issues with my camera. It's a wireless camera through my phone, this and that. I got to figure something out to get that working. But either way, I hope you have an incredible, incredible day. And in case you needed to hear it, I love you. You're a badass. You got this. Let's go get some good stuff done today. And if we run into a negative situation, cool, calm, and collected, baby. So cheers, friends. That's it for me today. And I'll be back here live with another episode at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time with the Talk Tanner Morning Show. Cheers, friends. Have a good one. Till next time.